dokie. We're going to get started in a minute. And I put into the chat already some of the props you might like to get together. 2 blocks, a blanket, and a strap. Don't worry if you don't have everything.
It's 5 o'clock.
And yeah, it's 5 o'clock. Let's get started. I'm trying to play some music this time, so we'll see if you guys can hear it. You can tell me later. It's very soft right now, so don't worry if you can't hear it right now. I'll turn it up in a minute. So, welcome to class. I hope everyone's doing well. I'll just chat for a minute as you get yourselves ready, gathering your props and everything, and I'll explain what we're going to be doing. So you might have read a little bit of what I wrote before on social media about what we're going to do today. So if you've been to a lot of yoga classes, or even if you haven't, sometimes a yoga teacher will say, we're going to work on our shoulders today. And whenever I hear that, I always kind of cringe and tense up, which is not helpful. And I realize it's really more about me in terms of what I do when we're trying to do like shoulder opening, because my shoulders are tight and I know it. I try really too hard. I try super, super hard, and I end up, sometimes going too far and hurting myself because I'm trying to open up those shoulders, and I'm like, I gotta do this. So what I want to try to do today is switch gears, and have a more gentle approach to saying, like, our shoulders are super important to us. If you've ever had shoulder pain, it can be so nagging that it's hard to even concentrate. Let's show them a little more gentleness, a little more love, and we can get there with opening, stretching, as well as strengthening our shoulders to improve our posture, to make ourselves feel better all around, as well as specifically the shoulders. So when we're doing the opening and stretching, just be gentle and gradual with it. And even if you can go far, even if you can really, really open and stretch, there's going to be a limit, right? We can't just stretch and open something infinitely. There's going to be a boundary, and that's good. Okay, there has to be some sort of containment, which is where we can start to build strength with a lot of openness. So we're going to start actually lying down. So you're going to get a blanket. If you don't have a blanket handy, you don't have to use this for what we're going to be doing. But if you have it, fold it so it's long and not that wide, okay? Not too wide. If you're even smaller in stature than, say, I am, you'd want it even narrower. It doesn't really matter how long it is. It can be quite long. I'm going to say, what is this? 6 to 8 inches wide? That's going to be good for most people. So what you're going to be doing is coming into a form of constructive rest. Okay, if you've done it before, you can lie down. You're going to lie down sitting on this end of the blanket, though. So you're going to sit here, and then just lie back on top of that blanket. So it's just going along your back, but the edges of your back are off, right? Including the backs of the shoulders, a little bit off the blanket. So constructive rest, the feet are wide apart, and the knees are resting together. Okay, but I'm a little bit too much up on the blanket. You want the sitting bones to be off, right? Okay, this is good. So we use constructive rest to find this effortless or weightless feeling in the legs. We kind of forget sometimes about bringing that feeling to the upper body, specifically the shoulders. So for today, we're going to really think about how to do a constructive rest for the shoulders. We're going to stay here for a little bit. We're going to do a little bit of a silent mantra for a few breaths. so you can really start to feel this. So have your arms a little bit out from your sides, bend at the elbows, and just bring the hands onto the hip crease. Okay, so the middle finger might be right on the hip crease, so the ring and pinky finger are a little bit up the leg, the thumb side of the hand is a little bit up on the lower belly. And you want to have the elbows out far enough away from your sides that the hands are lifted, but not feeling like they're jutting up towards the ceiling. They're just angling up from the elbow to where you're resting on the hip crease. And then you're just going to have a few moments to close your eyes. Let the shoulders, the backs of the shoulders especially, kind of roll off the edges of the blanket underneath you if you're using that blanket. They probably won't touch the floor, but they have a space that they can kind of melt down into. So go ahead and take a few breaths here and stay in constructive rest. I'm going to sit up so when we do some other things with the arms, you'll be able to see a little more easily than if I'm still lying down. But for now, you can just keep your eyes closed and stay in your constructive rest. And we're going to do a silent mantra. If you're not familiar with working with mantras, it's very simple. It's just an idea that you're just going to repeat to yourself in conjunction with the breath. I'm not going to say too much about mantra. I could give you a whole lecture about mantra, but for now, let's just try it out and just keep an open mind. And if it has a nice effect or a beneficial effect for you, you will note that. If it doesn't really, then we'll just move on. So this is a really nice, lovely mantra that you're going to use with your breath. When you inhale, just say the word live to yourself, L-I-V-E, live. And when you exhale, say the word love. So it's inhaling, live, exhaling, love. At the same time, you're feeling those hands right down in the lower belly area, hip crease area, and go ahead and let the breath be moving all the way down into the belly. So on your inhalation, on the word live, you might feel the hands rise a little bit. And then fall back down again on your exhalation with the word love. I'm going to let you have that mantra for a few moments. Continuing to let the backs of the shoulders release down towards the floor. Maybe the upper arms also start to release down a little bit more. And then very slowly, we will move our arms and release the idea of the mantra. You can keep doing it throughout class if you want, or you can just leave it there for now. You're going to move the hands up to the upper chest. So you're going to come, you're still lying on your back. I'm just showing you sitting up so it's easier to see. So the thumbs will go out towards the shoulders and the fingers are going in towards the center. So they might overlap a little bit in the center. Just let them kind of interdigitate a little bit there. And then you're resting as much of the palm of the hand on your body as you can. Okay, but just resting, not pressing. So now, instead of breathing very low into the belly, we're going to try to breathe into the hands. In other words, on your inhalation for a few rounds of breath, try to inhale so the hands lift up, or you can feel the upper chest lifting up into your hands. Just lightly. So here we're using the breath to start to release the tissues of the front top chest from underneath by sort of just massaging with the breath from underneath. Okay? So when we have our tension in our shoulders, or we're doing a lot of computer work, or we're driving a lot, or we're on our phones a lot, shoulders round forward. And these muscles all across the top of the chest get very tight. Okay, so just by breathing like this, maybe we're gonna start to loosen them up, or almost like massage them from the inside of the body, just a few times. At the same time, when we have those rounded shoulders, we do our backs a disservice and the upper back by overstretching the muscles on the upper back. Okay, and those muscles can get very overstretched and weak. So some of the work we'll be doing later will be to strengthen them so that they can hold the shoulders in a better position for our posture. So from this position, trying to breathe into the upper chest, you're going to move the arms again. And now you're going to come to first a Supta Baddha Konasana position. So what that means is you're going to move your legs so that the soles of the feet are together and the knees are apart. So I'm going to show this lying down. And then we're going to be using our hands. We're going to pick up the legs in that position. So the knees are apart, soles of the feet together. And then you can either hold the tops of the ankles with the hands like this, or the tops of the shins, if that's more comfortable to reach. Or if you can get the hands to hook underneath the ankles, like so, you can hold there. So we're starting to open the hips and everything by doing this, but the real purpose is to start to pull a little bit, using the strength of the arms to pull a little bit. You're using your arms to pull in, and it's giving you that little stretch in the legs and the hips. And you might feel like you're starting to shrug the shoulders up a little bit when you do that. That's okay, just for a couple breaths, we're gonna let that happen. And then release with the hands, bring the knees together, hug the knees in, and now we're gonna come up to a happy baby. So, if you can reach your feet, you'll do this holding onto your feet. You could use a strap around the feet, or you can hold on here. I'm gonna suggest, if you have a strap, definitely use a strap or hold the feet. So the arm can be in a straight position. Okay, the whole idea of this happy baby is to pull with the arms. Now we're not going to let the shoulders shrug up by the ears. We're going to keep them down so the neck stays long. Feet are up towards the ceiling, knees are bent, legs are wide apart, and now you're really using the strength of the arms to pull down. So this is a movement of the arms that we actually don't do a lot in yoga. Okay, pulling in with the arms, or brachiation. So a lot of other sports or activities, you're pulling with your arms a lot. So this is something we need to do for the health of the shoulder, okay, to strengthen in this way. So this is one of the few times you might actually do it in yoga, or you can create other situations where you would do it in yoga, but they're not like classical asana. Anyway, so we're going to do a couple other things like that later. After a couple of breaths in your happy baby, release the legs, roll over to one side, and come up to sit. Any comfortable seated position. I'm going to sit on a block. And we're going to do a couple more things for the shoulders to warm them up a little bit more. So first, as I was saying, you might feel like you often have the shoulders kind of rounded forward, excuse me, especially if you do a lot of work seated at a desk, something like that. So we're going to do some slow shoulder rolls, starting from where you are going back, okay? So sometimes when we do our shoulder roll, we bring the shoulder forward, right? We don't really need to do that, okay? We need to get them to go back. So we're going to start from wherever you naturally are. And then Inhale up, shrugging the shoulders up. And on your exhale, roll them down and back. And then come back to maybe where you started, or maybe just think of like coming to a neutral position. Inhale up, exhale, roll down and back. Just do that a few more times. Inhaling straight up, exhale down and back. So not even thinking about rolling the shoulders forward. Think of rolling them back. So when you go back, maybe the shoulder blades start to hug in towards the spine a little bit. Thinking of the muscles across the top of the back pulling in towards the spine. One more time. Inhale and exhale. Roll down and back. Good. So you might want to have a couple blocks handy. We're going to do a side stretch. Okay, so our very, very typical side stretch that we do a lot in the yoga class, especially at the beginning. You have your left hand on the floor and the right arm goes up. And we usually do it with the palm facing in. So go ahead and do your regular side stretch. This hand on the floor, you can flatten it, you can keep the fingers cupped, and you're just going to do your side stretch. So notice the position of the arm here. The palm is facing in. So this is actually an external rotation of the arm. And we do this arm position all the time in yoga, a lot. Externally rotate all the time. Nothing wrong with externally rotating the arms, but wouldn't it feel nice to maybe turn the other way and do a side stretch at the same time? So turn the thumb forward so the palm goes out, and then continue doing your side stretch, only the arm is turning, the inside of the arm is turning out. Okay? And then the stretch, it's still on the side of the body, but when it comes up towards your arm and your shoulder, it's maybe getting more on this inside armpit area and the inner arm. If you want to go even deeper, you can take a block. If you're not using blocks and you're using thick books in place of blocks, that's probably too heavy, so don't try that. Don't try this with a book, okay? But a block is not going to be too heavy. And then you're just doing that same side stretch. The palm is facing up towards the ceiling now, and the block is just giving me a little more weight to stretch out the underside of the arm. That armpit, and getting into this a little more towards the pecs also. Good. And then coming back up, you're going to take that same arm, your right arm, and wrap it around behind you. The forearm is just going horizontally across. I can use my other hand to just pull it a little bit across, but again, we're doing gentle opening, gradual opening, right? Your left hand is just going to come to the front here and start to just give yourself a little massage on those upper pecs. Can get super, super tight in there. Can also be kind of sensitive and tender. So again, be gentle and just work your way a little bit from the center out. And when you get to the head of the shoulder right here, again, it can be a little bit sensitive. So just gently encourage it to move back a little bit. And take a couple breaths there. Good. All right, then we'll switch sides. First, we'll do our side stretch with the left arm going up. Regular way, the palm is facing in. So as I start to go over, it's starting to face down. Stretching nice and long. And then if you want, you can try it again with the block. We have to turn the hand out first, right? So now we're going to turn the hand out. So the thumb goes forward, the palm starts to face out towards my left side, and eventually it'll start to go up towards the ceiling. So test that out first, and then, if you want, you can try it with the block for a little more, but not necessary. You just start to feel that stretch in that armpit area, which we never really stretch, or very rarely do we stretch there. So if we want a joint, whether it's the shoulder or any other joint in the body to be healthy, we need to stretch all around. We can't just always do one stretch or one direction. And then we want to also strengthen the muscles around the joint. So now you're going to take that left arm and wrap it around your back. Make sure you're sitting up straight when you do that, okay? So if the fingers don't reach all the way across to the other side, it's better to let the hand be more in the center of your back than reach too far and have you like do, flexing of the spine or arching of the back or something to get the hand there. So just have it in a reasonable position, and then again, take that right hand to the pecs and start to do your little bit of a massage there, working from the center out, being gentle. The warmth of your fingers might be enough to just start to get those tissues to kind of release a little bit. You get to that head of the shoulder. It might feel like it's jutting forward a little bit, which is normal because the arm is going behind us. But we want to try to open it up any amount possible. Again, being gentle, encouraging it to just kind of go out to the side a little bit, maybe release back a little bit. And then finally, just going to inhale the arms straight up, palms facing in towards each other. Our usual classical yoga position, Urdhva Hastasana, and just really, really reaching up, okay? Like you're trying to grab onto something up above you, okay? And make sure you're not trying to keep your shoulders down your back, okay? You might have heard that in a yoga class. Please do not try to do that. It does not make sense for the shoulders, and it's actually going to be possibly injurious to your shoulders, as well as making it harder for you to do certain poses or dangerous for you to do certain poses. So, sorry if there's another yoga teacher in your life who told you to do that, but I would say really don't try to do that. Really reach up as if you are just reaching for that cookie jar on the highest shelf of the pantry, okay? If you're trying to reach up, why would you tell one part of your body to reach down? Okay, enough about that. So from here, we're gonna come onto hands and knees into tabletop position. Okay, we're gonna start, as usual, a few cow and cat. So I still have a little thing going on with my wrist. It's a little painful to put the hand completely flat like this. So you'll see me on my knuckles like so. You can do that, or you can just do your hands flat as usual. It's up to you. And then from here, inhale, cow, exhale, cat. And just continue a few times on your breath, inhaling and exhaling. So finally, we're getting to a place where we're putting some weight onto the arms. Since we are working on our shoulders or thinking about what our shoulders are doing, again, being aware of how that affects the shoulders. In a tabletop, it's not an extreme amount of weight, but you still want to have a little bit of pressure in the arms. So let's come back to table and just check out your neutral spine and your shoulder position in tabletop. So you want to have a long neutral spine, a little bit of engagement in the core to hold everything steady, and then make sure the arm is vertical and that you're pressing a little bit down with the arms, okay? In other words, you're not letting everything sink towards the floor, okay? When that happens, the chest starts to kind of collapse down. You want to have a nice, strong position there, because when you start to collapse down, it's going to stretch or kind of shear some of the muscles in the shoulder a little bit, if you do it habitually many times. So you don't want to get in that habit. Good. From here, you just go back to child's pose with the toes pointed and rest back for a few breaths. You can go ahead and separate the knees apart. So you can release down a little bit more. We're going to do a little tricep stretch here. So some of this is very similar to what we did in this class last week, if you happen to take that class, in terms of some of the arm positions. Some of it's different though, so we'll see as we go. So tricep stretch, you can do it with no blocks. You can do it with your arms on the floor. So I'm going to show that first actually. And then you decide if you want more height, because the more height you put under, the more intense the stretch is going to be. So you want to come down into your child's pose, reaching the arms forward and have the head down. If the head doesn't touch the floor, use a block or folded blanket so your head is on something. Turn the palms to face in towards each other, bring them together, and then bring the hands behind your head. You want to make sure that you're not letting the elbows go out to the sides. You want to keep those elbows pointing forward. So arms are parallel to each other, hands just come forward and you go back. So you start to feel this stretching a lot. So if you think you could do a little more there, you can put blocks, you can put them on the lowest height, you'll put them up like this. And you have to kind of play with it to get it to the right position, so that when you come down, the head can come down below the level of the arms. However, keeping in mind what we were talking about at the beginning of class, you don't want to push it, okay? If that doesn't feel helpful to you, you don't have to do it. You just go back to the original with the arms on the floor. The name of the game is gradual and gentle. 2 names, okay? Let's just say gentle. That's really the name of the game, because it implies going gradually, okay? And that's another thing I've learned about myself in yoga, that I feel like I see somebody doing some difficult pose, and I'm like, I don't want to jump there, right? I want to just do that. I don't want to go through the gradual steps it takes to get there. I mean, a lot of us are like that in a lot of areas of life. So we have to kind of let go of that idea and make sure that we are being gentle with ourselves and giving ourselves the time to gradually go along that path. So come back up out of your child's pose, out of your tricep stretch. And we're going to come to puppy pose. So I'm just going to be doing it a little bit at an angle here. Okay? So from child's pose, come up a little bit, reaching the arms forward. Upper body in line with the arms. And then come forward, bending the elbows, forearms down. Stretch one leg straight back, other leg straight back to come to your forearm plank for a couple breaths. Think of that Chinese finger trap feeling of the whole body lengthening and cinching around the core, and then slowly lower everything down so you end up in your Sphinx pose. So we're going to do a little bit of our floor flow, similar to what we did last week. And if you didn't do it before, it's pretty simple. We're going to go from Sphinx to Cobra to Locust, and then back to Sphinx. We're going to repeat it a few times. Each time you're lifting upper body up into your back bend position, that's your inhalation. And then in between, when you exhale, you're just releasing a little bit towards the floor. The chest and the face will come down towards the floor a little bit, but you're going to not put them all the way down. You're going to try to keep them at least a tiny bit lifted off the floor throughout. So if you're not sure, you can watch the first time, or if you want to try with me the first time, let's go. So in your Sphinx pose, press the tops of the feet down, inhale. Exhale, start to drag the hands back as you release a little bit towards the floor. Hands go right back to Cobra position, and inhale back up to Cobra. Exhale, release down. Straighten the arms. Inhale again to Locust. Keep everything up. As you exhale, swing the arms forward for a full locust, and then inhale. Draw the elbows back in to come back up to Sphinx. That's a little bit different from what we did last week at the end there. Okay, so let's try it again. We're going to do the whole thing 2 more times. So, in your Sphinx, inhale. Exhale, release down as you slide the hands straight back. Inhale, back up to Cobra. Exhale, release down. Straighten the arms. Inhale, Locust. Exhale, arms forward. Inhale, draw the elbows back to Sphinx. Exhale, release, slide the hands back. Inhale, Cobra. Exhale, release, straighten the arms. Inhale, Locust. Exhale, arms forward, full locust. And inhale to Sphinx. Good. We're going to do 1 more locust. And if you have blocks or books that are not too heavy, you could use them as well. Or like any other small thing you could use as a hand weight, like 2 water bottles or something. You're going to do this. You're going to do a locust holding the weights up behind you. Okay, so it's going to look like this. It takes a minute to kind of position the blocks or whatever you're using. And they're going to be on your palms. If possible, you're not really holding them. You're not really gripping them. You're just letting them rest flat on the palms. And then when you reach up into your locust, you're trying to lift those weights, whatever they are, as high as you can. At the same time, reaching them down towards your feet. And just hold that a couple breaths. And then lower back down. Good. You can rest down for a few breaths. Resting your head on your folded hands. Wiggle the head, hips and legs side to side a few times. And then when you're ready, we're going to transition all the way to tabletop again. So if you want to, you can push yourself up and back to a child's pose. And then come to your tabletop. You want to come towards the front of your space in case you have a little bit of a tight space. You want to have more space behind you right now. We're going to come to downward facing dog. So one leg straight back and the other leg straight back for your high plank. And then up and back to your down dog. And just take a moment to stretch back in your down dog. So we're going to do a couple things here with that arm position. Okay, so if it's too much, you just stay in your down dog. And sometimes that in itself is enough of a workout for the arms. Okay? Just like we were doing before, though, you're thinking of in down dog, pushing the floor away. So this is opening up, okay? Sometimes you can come down, you can put your knees down if you need a break for a second. So again, in down dog, sometimes we hear that instruction flipped upside down of take your shoulders down your back. It's not helpful, okay? You really want to have the arms in that reaching up position, even though you're upside down, as much as possible. Okay, you don't want to be up like this in down dog and then try to take the shoulders down your back. Okay, for most people, that completely throws off the alignment of the spine. Okay, down dog should have a neutral spine. So, another thing to be aware of. So, we're going to come to our down dog. And like I said, if this next couple things seems too much on the arms, you don't have to do it. You're going to come to your down dog and bring the hands close together. You're going to keep your left hand down on the floor. Try to hold your body in that down dog position and reach the right arm back alongside your right hip. And take a breath. And then bring that hand forward, your right hand forward, and left hand back alongside that hip. Okay? So, trying to do that, you can do it one more time each side without changing the shape of your down dog, which I know is very difficult. So, one hand is doing a lot of work as you reach the other hand back. Good. One more exercise in down dog. You're going to start off in a similar position with the hands close together. And you might want to walk the feet in a little bit more than you normally would have for down dog, like just 3 or 4 inches at the most. Again, the left hand is going to stay pressing into the floor in front of you. The right hand is going to come in underneath you. Okay, you're going to reach across to the outside of the opposite calf. Try to twist underneath yourself and try to hold that for a breath. And then come forward again and do the other side. And then come forward. Finally, just a regular old down dog. Pedal out the feet and start to walk the feet forward towards your hands. Come to a ragdoll forward fold. Feet apart, knees bent, and let the head go. Shake out the head, yes and no. Hold on to opposite elbows. Look down for a moment and see which arm is closer to you. Just note, is it the right or the left? Could be either one. And return to the ragdoll and just start to swing the arms back and forth a few times. Like a swing. The head is still releasing as much as possible, and you're swinging the arms back and forth. And then just going to stay, the arms lifting up. The head is staying down, the trunk is staying down, the arms are lifting up behind your head, any amount. I might just go a little bit, might go a little bit more. Just try it out. And then bring them back down and look at your arms again and switch so the other forearm is on top now. It's closer to you. And then the same way, swing back and forth a few times and then lift up behind your head any amount you can. Finally, releasing the arms. Sit back, bend the knees quite a lot. Lift up into your trunk is in a neutral spine position. Push into the legs to come all the way up to stand. Great. Now we're just going to grab onto that strap. Okay. I'm going to shift my camera a little bit so you can see me, hopefully. I'm standing up. Oh, yeah. That's good. Okay. So we're going to do a couple stretches for the shoulders, first with the strap. So hold it out in front of you. Could just be about shoulder width or a little bit more, and just pull apart. Okay, so you're really trying to just rip that strap in half. Keep the neck long, tops of the shoulders releasing down. Good. Now we're going to bring that strap over the head. And again, try to pull it apart. Keep breathing. And then just a couple times, lift and lower from those two places. Straight out, shoulder height, and then straight up. Continuing to try to pull the strap apart. And again, don't be too harsh. Don't use too much force, okay? We don't have to kill ourselves, okay? We're not doing Iron Man right now, okay? So, next part is always really tough for me. I don't know if it is for you. I'm going to try to bring the strap behind the back. So you probably are going to have to make your hands much wider. Keep the arms straight and try to bring the hands behind your back. Now, if you're like me, I get to here and I'm like, I can't bring my hands anymore. So I bring them forward, make them wider, and then try again. Okay, and eventually they get so wide that I can actually bring the strap all the way down behind me. And then we're just going to go back and forth a few times. You can keep it at whatever width you need as you come forward, up over the head, and then all the way back behind. Okay, and again, it's better to go too wide than try to stay too narrow and force the issue. That's not going to help you. in the long run. Okay, a few more times. And then we're going to do, just for a moment, you're going to grab your block. If you don't have a block, you can use something around this width. Okay, so for most people, this is going to be about shoulder width if you lift the block up like so. Okay, so just now we were trying to pull the strap apart. Now you're going to hold onto the block, palms pressing the ends of the block or whatever you're using. Try not to hold on. You're holding the block by pressing into it. Okay, so you have to use a little more strength of the whole arm. If you hold on with your fingers, your arm can actually be totally jello, okay? So we want to use the arm muscles, okay? So you're going to lift up, pressing that block, and try to lift it up all the way to the ceiling. Getting tall. And breathe. And then come forward again. All right, last thing with the strap. The classic, excellent arm position for shoulders is Gomukhasana arms. So we're just going to do it. We're not even going to think about using our hands to hook together, okay? Let's just not even go there. We're using this to stretch, okay? So you're going to take the strap. If you have a strap with a buckle, hold the buckle in your left hand. Bring it behind you, elbows going up, and the right hand can get that elbow in behind your head a little bit, towards the center. And then the right hand is going to reach up the back, okay? So my right hand, it's really my left hand, but pretend it's my right hand. The palm is facing out, holding onto that strap. Okay, so for a moment, with your right hand pulled down, pull straight down, you'll feel stretch here. And then reverse it, and then with your left hand, pull up gently, okay? Then you'll feel this opening up a little bit. And it might feel like not exactly the most pleasant sensation. Don't, again, use too much force. You don't want to injure that, okay? You just want to try gently, see if you can open up a tiny bit. Okay, then we'll do the other side. So now, hold the strap in your right hand. Let it go back behind your back. I always say to hold the buckle because if you don't hold the buckle, it could hit you in the head. And I found that out from experience. So then your left hand, palm out, grabs onto that strap. And then for a moment, just pull down with the left hand. Okay, you can also do the elbow for a moment if you want. And then pulling straight down with the left hand. Again, keeping the upper body neutral, okay? Not arching a lot, not leaning to the side or anything, just straight and neutral. And then with your right hand, pull up. And see if this hand can go further up your back. Good. All right, finally, we're gonna do a few standing poses, all right? So I'm gonna adjust again so you can see a little bit more of my mat. Okay, so you might wanna have your blocks handy. Come to Tadasana. I'm going to be at a little bit of an angle here. Standing up nice and tall. Inhale all the way up. And exhale, fold forward. Inhale halfway up. And exhale, fold down. Bend the knees as needed. Get the hands to the floor or to the blocks if you want. And step your right foot all the way back. Long lunge position. Take a big breath in, and then on an exhale, lower that back knee to the floor. Inhale up, crescent lunge, and then exhale, just bring your hands to that front knee. Reach forward with your right hand, inhale. Exhale, open up to the right side and circle the arm back, palm facing out, and see if you can touch your right hamstring. And then come forward again. Do the same thing on the other side. Left arm, inhale, reach forward. Then exhale, open up to the left side and reach back and see if you can touch the right hamstring. The palms facing out again. Good. From here, we're going to come into a twist. You can either come with the forearm on top of the front thigh, or you can put that right hand all the way down onto the floor. The left hand is just going to wrap around your back, sort of like that's similar to the position when we did our little back massage like this. So if you want to try with the right arm up, you're going to tuck the back toes and straighten out that back leg. You can also do it with the hand down. Either way, you're going to come into a twist from here. Okay, so the left shoulder is going up. The left fingers are wrapping around more and more and more towards the front of the right hip. You can have your right hand on the floor, or you could maybe use a block if you like. Think of opening up the front of the left shoulder. Good. Then unwind out of your twist. And again, use your blocks here. Shift the hips straight back to come to Parsvottanasana. Now we're going to use, we're going to do another Parsvottanasana. You're going to come you're going to bring the back foot a little bit forward so that you can put the foot back. Okay, so the right foot is angled off to the right side and the sole is completely planted down. I have a tendency to hyperextend in the front knee. In this pose, I'm going to use a little trick you might have seen, putting a block like this underneath. So I can't hyperextend that knee. And then you're going to come all the way up to stand, facing forward. A couple different options here. You can do Parsvottanasana like we just did, just folding forward, hands on the floor either side of your front foot. Or you can take the block behind you, that same hand position, just holding the ends of the block, pressing together, so that when you fold forward, the arms start to come up behind you. Or one last position to try if you want. Actually, it's two options. Reverse fist bump behind your back. So your hands are going to be like this, but behind your back. Okay? You face forward and fold any amount that you can over that front leg. Last option, similar to the reverse fist bump, but it's reverse prayer hands. Okay, so your hands are in this position, but behind your back. Okay, so this is pretty intense, and I'm not going to try it because my wrist is already bothering me. But if you're open in the wrist and the elbow, your whole arm is kind of flexible, you can try that. Or you can just stick with the fist bump behind the back. Either way, you're going to make sure that you're lifting up first, big inhale, and then as you exhale, just kind of laying everything down on that front leg. And hopefully not losing your balance like I just said. And then folding, 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 folding. And then finally, bend the front knee, release the hands to the floor, swivel onto the ball of the back foot, and step that right foot forward towards the front of the mat. Bend both knees, sit back, bring the spine to neutral, lift up, and push into your legs to come all the way back up to stand. Into Tadasana, inhale the arms out and up. And exhale, fold forward once again. Inhale halfway up and exhale, fold. Inhale, step your left foot all the way back towards the back. Exhale, drop that knee and inhale up. Crescent lunge. And then exhale, hands to that front knee. Reach your left hand forward. Inhale and circle back. Exhale as you touch the left hamstring, palms facing out. Just the pinky side edge touching. And then inhale, come forward. Excuse me, exhale. Inhale the right hand forward and circle it back. Exhale as you touch the hamstring from the other side. And now we're going to come towards our twist. So different options again. You can keep this left forearm on top of this front leg, or you can put the hand down on the floor or onto a block. Your right arm is going to wrap around so the fingers start to come all the way around to the other side of your body. Tuck the back toes and come up to your twist. And you're just twisting towards that right side. Any amount, thinking of that right shoulder opening up any amount more than you can. Good. And then release, hands on the floor. Push the hips straight back to Parsvottanasana. And then we'll try our last variation of Parsvottanasana on this side. So again, back foot can hop in a little bit and plant down. I'm going to prop underneath my front calf. And then same thing, choose one of the variations. First is really just Parsvottanasana again, put the hands down. If you feel like you've done enough shoulder stuff today, just do that. Or block behind when you come forward lifting up. Or one of those variations with the hands behind the back, either fists together or reverse prayer. Whichever you choose, make sure you face forward before you start to fold. Inhale, lengthen the spine up, and then exhale, come forward. Any amount over that front leg. And then release the hands down. Bend the front knee. Hands on the floor. You're going to step the front foot back to downward facing dog. And then drop the knees and push back to child's pose. Rest your head down on the floor or on a block or blanket if you need. And then switch the arm position so the arms are reaching back alongside you. Back to the hands are on the floor, palms up. And then finally, just let the shoulders go. Now they can just relax down towards the floor to release. And take a few breaths there. Last thing we're going to do before we close, we're going to quickly do a couple side planks. Okay, if this is too much for you, you can always do a forearm side plank. It's a little less for the whole arm. It's still a lot of work though. So different options. I'm going to show side plank, but with a modification so it's less weight on the shoulder. The most important thing about side plank is you're going to start out with your right hand down. Always be lifting up out of that shoulder. Okay, so think of this space along the side of your neck and the top of the shoulder staying broad. Okay, and the way you, imagine I'm in side plank here. The way you stay broad is not by lifting the head up to make more space here. It's by pushing the shoulder down. Okay, and we're going to have the other arm up for a moment, so you'll have a nice feeling of this kind of wingspan. Okay, so we want to, decompress the shoulders by all this stretching and opening with the hands behind the back and all that, but also just stretching apart like a wingspan kind of idea. It's going to give space to the shoulders across. So think of your collarbone from the center sternal notch, collarbone's going out in that same line through each arm. So the way we're going to come into it is from down dog. So you're going to come back to your down dog, come forward as you swivel the feet. Okay, so I'm not stacking my feet. You could stack the feet, or you could just have them so the left foot is in front, right foot's behind. And then you're pushing down, pushing down. Modification to make it easier. Top leg goes in front. So you're on the outer edge of your right foot, and you're even thinking of, could I put the sole of my foot down that way? Good. And then turn back towards the floor, downward facing dog, and then we'll swivel to the left side. Hands can be I'm going to turn this way so I can be facing towards you a little bit. Feet can be stacked if you want, or you can just let them be one in front of the other. Thinking of wingspan, 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 stretching. Top leg could go in front to make it a little less weight on the arm. And then slowly turn towards the floor. Drop both knees and you can take another quick child's pose. And then walk the hands back towards your knees and come up to sit. Sit off to one side and swing the legs around in front. And sit up on that mat, or a folded blanket rather. I'm using a mat. Just for a little bit of height if you want. It's up to you. Stretch both legs straight ahead. Inhale, arms out and up, reaching as tall as you can through the spine, and then exhale, fold forward, reaching for the feet, calves, ankles, whatever you can reach. You use your strap around the feet if you like, or hold the big toes. Just any amount you can, letting everything release forward. If you do have a hold of something like the strap or your feet, again, this is one other little opportunity to use the arms to pull, okay? It's really important just in life to keep that strength. So we want to, find those opportunities in our asana practice to do that. And then slowly come back up, bend the knees and walk the feet in a little bit towards you. You don't need to be sitting on anything for this. Just going to finish with a reverse table. So now we're going to be using the strength of the arms behind us. So you're going to lean back, turn the fingers so they're facing towards you. They're facing forward. Feet are going to come in. I'm not sure how this is going to be on my wrist, so we'll check it out. And you're just going to try to lift up into a reverse table. It's actually not too bad on my wrist. I think it's getting better. So you're trying to lift the hips up as high as you can, as high as the knees. And then come on back down. Last one. You're going to do reverse table again. If that felt like a little too much work for this part of class, just go down onto your back and you can do a bridge for your final back bend. Or you could try Purvottanasana, okay, which is a reverse plank. So instead of with the knees bent going up into a reverse table, we're going to try to keep the legs straight. They might not be completely straight at first because you're going to push the feet away a little bit when you come up. Okay, so you're going to come up and then either push or walk the feet away. And then lifting up into your reverse plank for a couple breaths. So whichever variation you try, take your time, eventually coming down onto your back once again. If you're not already there from doing a bridge. And just take a couple breaths. Maybe just taking a couple moments to revisit that constructive rest feeling. So let the legs fall together, feet apart, and just rest the hands on the body anywhere that's comfortable for a couple breaths. From here, slide the hands out to either side, out of your way so you can do just a little gentle side-to-side movement with the legs. It's like windshield wipers. And it's up to you if you want to just go back and forth a few times or stay more on one side for a few breaths. And make sure you go to the other side. And then as you finish up with your twist, take your time. You can take a few moments to either hug the knees in towards the chest once again, or do a happy baby again. And then we'll slowly move to Shavasana, your final relaxation. So as you're ready, start to gently move towards Shavasana, straightening the legs out straight on the floor. If you like that feeling of resting the hands on the body instead of having the arms straight down alongside you, as we usually do for Shavasana, you can always do that. I find sometimes having the arms straight down alongside me kind of makes me, like the weight of the arms kind of throws off the alignment of the spine a little bit. Depending on you, you might find that to be true, so you can always just change putting the hands on the body. If you have a tendency to hyperextend the elbows, it might be a nice relief from that feeling to have the elbows bent for Shavasana. So try that out if you like. Some of you might have been wondering where Oreo has been this class. She's actually in the room. She's been on the couch the whole time, taking a huge nap. So she is here. She is supervising, but she did not walk across the space. As you set yourself up for Shavasana, take a couple moments and just roll across the back of your skull a few times. Just rolling the head side to side. And then eventually come to center and start with your centering breath a few times. Inhaling through the nose and exhaling through the mouth. Maybe 3 to 4 times. And then you'll finally come to breathe in and out through the nose again, but keeping the breath nice and soft. Eventually coming to full relaxation pose, releasing all unnecessary effort. You need to adjust something a little bit, go ahead and do that now. Eventually try to find stillness as much as possible. Sometimes the first second or few seconds we set up our Shavasana, maybe we haven't completely been able to relax, and then after a few moments, you actually do need to adjust because your body has started to relax a little bit. So go ahead, but then you're going to try to find a feeling of stillness. As always, trying to feel the support of the floor. Instead of holding ourselves up away, letting go and surrendering to the force of gravity. Can't really resist it as much as we might try. So might as well give into it at least a little bit to fully rest and use it for our own benefit, our own purposes of finding that release. Ever so slowly start to wiggle your fingers and toes. And when you're ready, bend your knees, bring your feet to the floor, stretch out the arms, and roll over onto one side. Gradually finding your way to a comfortable seated position. And once you arrive, pressing the hands together, namaste. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you enjoyed it. If you have any questions or feedback for me, please leave them in the comments. And I will look forward to our next live stream next Friday at 5 p.m. I'm going to keep doing that for the next couple weeks at least. We'll see how far we go with our quarantine. Hope everyone is staying safe and healthy. And namaste. Thank you again for joining me.